There. Now we are recording. And we welcome, I won't go through the entire introduction, but we welcome Lani Gordon and Ken Love of Focus Reentry, a Boulder County organization that trains mentors to companion those who've been incarcerated in our local jail, both as they're in jail and as they transition to life back in the community. So we are recording, and I will pause this when our speakers are done. And then, as always, we'll just raise our hands. I'll pop us in order and we'll have a great discussion. So again, thank you. And one last bit. Lani did let me know that she is in the foothills of Boulder. As you might imagine, the wind is pretty fierce there. Her internet connection may come and go. So please have the grace to be patient with her if her audio and video don't sync with each other. If things get too bad, Lani, I'll just hold up a hand or something, and maybe that'll be the signal for us to switch to Ken. That sound like a plan? Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the one thing I realized is once I share screen, I can't see you guys as easily. So maybe actually verbally interrupt me if you're okay with that. Yeah,
You got
or
it.
Ken, feel free to send me a message if I'm just frozen with a funny face on.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Sounds good. Thank you. I'll go ahead and mute.
Okay. Thank you, Susan. Thank you for the kind introduction. Thank you guys all for having us. It was great to hear a little bit about your church and your mission, and sounds like a really beautiful community. So we're honored to be able to share a little bit about what we do with you. I'm going to go ahead and share screen here. And oh, cool. I can see you, Susan. You can wave at me. Sorry, I was wrong. Okay. So yeah, as Susan said, our Focus Reentry, we've been around for about 13 years, actually probably more like 14 or 15 at this point. I've been saying that for a couple of years. And we originally started with some realization from the jail that there needed to be some extra supportive reentry services for our community. And so we've become a nonprofit for that, which gives us a lot of our own freedom to get creative about the gaps that we are seeing and how we can fulfill them without having to fully work within some of the slower process of the jail system, but work instead in collaboration with them, which has been really great. Let's see here. Our main goals, we're going fast forward mode, going back. Let's see here. Okay, our main goals are to promote successful second chances, to reduce recidivism, and then to educate our community. As we have started as a program, when we started as a program, reducing recidivism was a very big goal, and it still remains that. But as we've evolved as a program, we've also realized that not only are we just trying to help people stay out of jail and reduce our incarceration rate, but even if there's many reasons that they might go back to jail and they do go back to jail, everybody deserves chances that many parts of our system make difficult to attain. So that's our, I would say, ultimate goal, is to provide those chances and those resources that may otherwise be difficult to access based off of their circumstances. Our other goal is to educate our community. It's easy to judge something you might not understand. So trying to get more people in our community a perspective on the unhoused and why people in our community might be unhoused, a perspective on the criminal justice system, and therefore creating more compassion, understanding, and empathy for the lower income, minority, and unhoused population in our community. Our team, as I mentioned before, we are a nonprofit. We have a board of, it keeps changing in numbers. I think at the moment there are 8 or 9 members with varying roles and backgrounds. We have a staff of 3.5 staff members, an executive director, myself, the program director, and an immediate release coordinator. And then we have some people that assist with rides and some other case management. As the program director, I probably have the most, at least verbal contact with our clientele. So I talk to everybody that we work with. And then Molly, our executive director, she does a lot of the funding and the grants and getting our message and word out there in the community. And then our immediate release coordinator does a bunch of errands and has a lot of on the grounds, even during COVID time, with our clients, getting them bags, resources, cell phones, different connections like that. And then we have a huge volunteer base, and our program is only basically successful because of that. So the majority of or actually all of our mentors are volunteers. Our staff doesn't really have the time to also be mentors. We serve around, this year we served around 300 people out of the Boulder County area. And then about 40 of those get a mentor match. So that's based off of the amount of volunteers that we have and how many of them can actually get those one-on-one relationships. So right now we probably have about 15 active volunteers. A lot of them are from educated, or they're going through education programs that are related to this work, whether that be psychology, criminal justice work, in getting a law degree, etc. Some of them are retirees of the system and want to give back. And yeah, quite a wide base of volunteers from all different kinds of backgrounds, and they basically become our family. They're really lovely. We're very grateful for all our volunteers. Ooh, let's see. Okay, our clients, we primarily, as mentioned, work out of the Boulder County Jail. We work with some people that are in the Department of Corrections all over the state that plan to release to Boulder County or originally came from Boulder County. And then we work with the halfway houses. There's 2 court-ordered halfway houses in our county, one in Longmont and one in Boulder. And then we also work with people that are in programs that are more voluntary, like Ready to Work, which is a great program in Boulder County, and other places like that. The majority of our clients are suffering from some form of mental illness, whether that be PTSD, depression, anxiety, either something that is part of who they are and they've always had this condition, or something that was created through trauma that they've had in their life. I often, when I go in jail, imagine that I would, or go into jail to visit them, would imagine that I would probably have some PTSD or anxiety just from the experience of being incarcerated. So you have that, and then you add on the many different challenges that they might have had in their life that influenced them getting into jail in the first place, and then kind of what can be ongoing from there. The majority of our clients also have an addiction challenge. Often those are self-medicated ways to deal with a mental illness. It can be alcohol, opioids, meth. There's definitely an unfortunately large meth scene in our community, larger than I realized until recently. And most of that comes from how affordable it is for somebody that has an addiction challenge, that is trying to feed that with something, and the other substances are harder to obtain. There's also the majority of our clients have some form of poverty. This mostly is because the majority of people, at least in the Boulder County Jail, that have money are able to bond out. So they're not in jail for that long. Or if they don't have enough money, or if they have money but they didn't bond out, it usually means they committed a crime that's more significant than corrections. So most of the people that we are working with cannot afford their bond. And if they had money, they're losing a lot of it to legal fees or by being incarcerated while they're awaiting their conviction, their trial, etc. They are losing a lot of money that they did have because they had just a small amount. And then many of our clients have chronic homelessness. They've been in and out of homelessness for anywhere from a couple months to many years, or have had family members that have also struggled with homelessness. And that is a thing that contributes a lot to arrest. Legal process. Most of our clients are held for long periods of time before they're convicted. This is because they can't meet bond and because of the way that the criminal justice system is designed in our courts at this time. Many cases can get put out for months before somebody's even convicted, and they are just, because they can't meet bond, waiting in jail for that conviction, even if they are innocent. Most of our clients take plea deals to get out of jail, even if they believe they are innocent. This is because of the system, in my opinion, that causes them to be in jail for so long because they can't afford bond. And then they're just so anxious to be able to get out and get back to their life and not be in jail that they'll take a deal, say that they're guilty, even if they believe that they aren't, for the charges that they're being charged. We have only seen one client in the last 2 years refuse to take a deal and say he wanted to go to trial. And when that happened, after a year to a year and a half, his charges were eventually dismissed and they didn't go to trial. So it's kind of a shocking thing to witness going to a lot of their courts. Most are in for lower level crimes. Most of the people that we're working with, they're in there for theft, things like theft, domestic violence, trespassing, low degree assaults, resisting arrest, DUIs, things like that. So those are kind of the crimes or the charges that we are with people that we are working with. So a little bit of kind of the justice system cycle that at least I have seen in working with this population in our community. And I personally have not been in jail or gone through the criminal justice system in that way. So I'm speaking to this from my observation, but not my personal experience. And I also could have been arrested for things that I did when I was younger that were stupid, but I happened to luck out. And also, I think some of my privilege probably influenced me not getting arrested. So just to own all of that before speaking to it. Often this starts with somebody who is marginalized, somebody who has less access to affordable education, who doesn't have as safe of a place to live, who's struggling financially, or their family is struggling financially, or is, a member of a minority that might be impacted by prejudice. They are more likely, in our experience, to get arrested due to prejudice, or perhaps the neighborhood they live in or the community that they associate with, or their families having families or friends having records themselves. They then get arrested and are encouraged to take plea deals to get out of jail faster, to kind of speed up our criminal justice system. And so often they end up taking plea deals, which leaves them with a record. Many of these plea deals are felonies, and those felonies are huge barriers to getting a place to live and rent or to job search. So as they get out, they're faced with those challenges again, which brings them back into being in challenging areas, or having a hard time finding jobs, which brings them back to them having a increased risk of being arrested. And you can kind of just see how that cycle continues. Ken, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Not really, Lani. I think you're covering it beautifully. Really, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so what we kind of try to do to support some of this is broken into 3 pieces: basic needs, immediate release coordination, and mentorship. Mentorship is the biggest umbrella part of our program. It's the most involved work that we do with our clients. As I said, we have about 300 clients a year, and we mentor about 40 of them just because it takes that much more effort and time. We don't have the resources to do that much more at this time. So mentorship happens when they get matched one-on-one with a member from the community. I match those based off of somebody speaking that they want to have mentorship, and then somebody wanting to mentor them, and then bringing them to meet each other and seeing if it's the right fit. Those mentorship relationships last anywhere from a couple months to many years. We have people that are still having deep relationships with the people that they mentored many years ago, and it's continuous. Within that mentorship program, they're working one-on-one with that volunteer, and then they're also getting support from our staff. And that support includes this basic needs and immediate release coordination. So everybody that goes through our program at least gets some kind of basic needs support. And I'll break down kind of what that basic needs support is in a moment. But general case management, resource connection, etc. When people get out, and this is the big thing that our program does that there are some other programs in the Boulder County Jail. I'm actually pretty impressed with how the Boulder County Jail is working compared to some other county jails in the country. There are programs in there that help them while they're in there, but very few of them, if not any of them, offer very long support once somebody gets out. So that's a big part of our program, is we meet them right when they get released, and we'll work with them as long as they want to work with us once they get out. The only reason we stop working with somebody is if they seem unsafe or are using substances that make us feel unsafe around them because it's creating some kind of behavior issue. And that usually results in us only terminating about half a client a year. It's pretty rare. Before COVID was happening, we were doing this by giving our clients rides and meeting them and taking them around to take care of everything that they needed to do right when they got out. Right now, we're more doing remote and dropping things off to them. Our basic needs program. So we help them with health. We help them get dental and medical appointments for things they might need. We can set those up for them before they get out so they're ready to go when they do get out. We help them get medications. Clients are not released from jail with the medications that they have been taking while in jail. So they're on top of all of the other stresses that they have right when they get out. They have to figure out how to get to a pharmacy or get a script or see a doctor. And for a lot of people that have mental illness, this is a big challenge. So we try to make it so that they leave the door with the Boulder County Jail with medications in their hand that we've picked up for them. We help them get on benefits, food stamps, Medicaid, disability, et cetera. A lot of those things you can get started while somebody is still incarcerated, so that when they get released, they also have their food stamps in their hands and their Medicaid is active, so they don't have to also have that barrier before getting medication or medical need that they might have. We help them get important items, clothing, hygiene, phones, etc. We help them with job search and resumes, so trying to find places that accept felony charges or people with that in their records. or just looking in a grander perspective on what job opportunities might be available for them based off of the things that they're interested in. We also work with a couple organizations that try to help train people, especially right now, on tech-related jobs and admin-related jobs for free. So trying to help connect people to some of those trainings as well. We help people with identification, helping them get their birth certificates. It can be a long road if you don't have a Colorado ID to get an ID, if you've since lost your identification, as well as if you've had some name changes and have lost your ID, et cetera. So we help them order those things. We help them with housing resources and applications. Housing is the biggest challenge that our clients face. And our challenge is there also is not a ton of resources, but we do the best that we can to get them interviews with places, sometimes even before they get out of jail, as well as get them into the database list for a lot of the social service housing resources that are available while they're still incarcerated. And then we help them with mentorship. I guess that wouldn't be a basic need, but I touched on that earlier. Okay, since COVID, we've been able to adapt to a few things. It's definitely been a challenge, but it's also been a really great silver lining for our program. The county, we get some of our funding from things like the sugar tax, for example. So if you drink soda, you're helping us in Boulder County. So they were able to give us a little extra funding for phones and ordering phones, as well as we were able to shift some of our funding in our program for that. So every client who gets out of jail who asks for a phone gets one from us. Some clients are released based on if they can get a phone to be able to comply with probation and court and other services. So that's actually been a barrier for release for some people, and we've been able to break that barrier down. And most services have become remote, therefore phones are necessary for court, probation, mental health, et cetera. So as COVID shifted, we realized, whoa, this is a huge priority. We also are not allowed to go into the jail at this time because they're being very safe around the spread of COVID. And so we are communicating with all of them via the phone as well. So it's been an essential thing for anybody trying to get connected to services. And we've been able to provide quite a few. I think we're getting close to 100 at this point. So we've also been able to provide a lot more remote support. Originally, we were not on a free call list in the jail. So every call that came to us, we had to pay for, but the jail has been able to add us to a free call list, which has been great. So our phones are ringing off the hook from 9 to 5 every day from people that are incarcerated, which is also meaning we can reach a lot more people, because the process, even just to get into the jail to see people every day, you do that probably adds a whole hour and a half extra time of just getting in there, getting out of there, or waiting for the guard to bring you your client. So we're able to do quick things over the phone and help a lot more people, and that's why our numbers have grown this year as well. We're also helping people order their stimulus checks. Clients are able to use our address and we're helping them apply. It's been a really amazing thing to be able to help somebody have $1,200 when they're released from jail when they usually have no money. So that's been a great thing to be able to witness and to try to help with. And that mostly sums it up. You can learn more about us or join our team. You can check out our website. My contact and Ken's contact are below there. You're welcome to reach out to us if you have any questions or interests. We're always looking for more resources. So if you're ever cleaning out your closet and need to get rid of jackets, or especially men's large clothing is the thing we're always short on, backpacks, sleeping bags, etc. We always take donations, etc. That is mostly what I have to say. Ken, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'll just point out the great work that we do transitioning people and offering them, our motto says, creating successful second chances. And so the mentoring program is super pivotal for our work with clients. And, as a product of that mentoring, I was able to join the board and, launch a successful second chance. So Focus Reentry is really impacting lives in the Boulder and Denver County. And we're really looking forward to being able to touch even more people next year. So thank you, Lani. And I think it was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you both. I mean, it's inspiring and important work. And Lani, like you, it's probably my privilege that prevented me or saved me as a young person from going to jail, not once, but a number of times. And I would imagine most of the people, or some of the people on this call, have a similar story, certainly. And I had no idea about all the barriers people face. I want to stop talking and open this up for people to ask questions and comments. Ken, are you willing to take questions as well?
Of course, yeah, it'd be my honor, my pleasure. Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Let me stop the recording. Stand by.